On day 80, we spend far too long enjoying the scenery of California's greatest highway and its crazy ocean views. Finally, we make it to Point Reyes National Seashore in time to get lost in the dense fog, and then go through San Francisco to spend 2 nights in hip Redwood City. The fogginess of Fort Bragg was gone this morning. It looked like a totally different place. Time to hit the highway, further down the central California coast towards San Francisco. California Highway 1 proved difficult to make progress on today. The miles went by slowly because every pullout and every scenic vista called us, and each was unique and absolutely worth the time. Today the fog came and went. The road curved through amazing yellow fields and rows of angular, twisty trees. Ocean views with huge rocks and splashing blue-green waves extended far from the road, and life slid by at a cheerful, relaxed pace. Of everywhere we've been on this trip, this may have been California's best drive. Mostly. I didn't want the drive to end, and for a long time it seemed like it wouldn't. Fine with me. What more could you want? Eventually, at midday, we looked for a place for a picnic. I guess not here, where something mysterious and very California seems to be happening. We found a nearby place, for commoners, sat on a blanket, and had lunch with front row seats to the planet's most magnificent ocean. Of course everything was perfect, but we actually did have plans. We needed to get going. The actual destination on day 80 was Point Reyes National Seashore. Point Reyes is a roughly triangular piece of land attached to California just north of San Francisco. But it's an uneasy attachment because it's on a different tectonic plate, moving in a different direction than its neighbor. The little valley now between them, where the visitor center is located, is on the San Andreas Fault. In the 1906 earthquake that set San Francisco on fire, the entire triangle of land leapt north 20 feet within seconds. It could happen again, any minute now. But hopefully not while we're driving across it. I wanted to take the longest road to the furthest point in Point Reyes, along Sir Francis Drake Boulevard. Some boulevard. As soon as we were on the main triangle, the fog settled in, insanely thick. This is why people feel like they've left California and traveled to another country out here. The ranger at the visitor center had started to complain that the roads were never fixed after the 1989 earthquake, but he stopped himself and wished us a pleasant drive. And it was as he described. Bad roads, but they certainly fit the mood. We had to have faith that this would lead us somewhere, this path into a cool, misty hell. At the southwestern tip, we parked on a ridge overlooking the ocean. I swear, here it is on Google Street View on a clear day. After a short walk up a path, the Lighthouse Visitor Center was just closing. They let us in briefly, but the ranger was making sure we didn't climb down the long staircase to actually see the lighthouse here. In a way, it's a shame, but really, what would we have seen anyway? I wasn't sorry. What we could see was worth the effort. Back in this world, the fog again disappeared and reappeared as we wound up and down the final mountain passes and down to San Francisco. When we finally rejoined US 101, we went through the Robin Williams Tunnel, renamed that in 2015 to honor the comedian who started his career in San Francisco. When you exit the tunnel, you get the first view of the Golden Gate Bridge. Well, usually. We didn't. On this day, it was only visible once we came right up to it. I mean, I guess this isn't too unusual here, but I wouldn't have crossed this 1937 bridge, at that time the longest and tallest in the world, any other way than this. And now in San Francisco, we found Fulton Street. Fulton Street, where one of my favorite bands, Jefferson Airplane, lived in the 1960s. I played Jefferson Airplane in the car, and we drove through Golden Gate Park and then through the city and its famous old Victorian houses. Some of these were actually built with wood from redwood trees. We didn't stay in Old Frisco, though. Our hotel room was further to the south, in the somewhat cheaper Redwood City. This is a super hip, modern California community. Not one with an overabundance of parking, though. The Euro Hotel was great. We even had a sink in the room, though I don't really know why. Dinner was Vietnamese food, the first since Arkansas, I think, and then we just enjoyed being in a cozy and more upscale place than our usual. On day 81, we stayed in Redwood City, and it was a day marked by glorious food. First, a friend of mine recommended breakfast at Alana's, where we sat outside and had the trip's best morning meal. Later, coffee was from Phil's. We stopped by the apartment of that friend, another type 1 diabetic that I met on Twitter, and incidentally, she had a poster of U2 at Zabriskie Point on her wall. She took us to a nearby Italian place for a truly great early dinner, and she treated us. Next time it's on me. We did move to a cheaper motel for the second night in Redwood City. No misplaced sinks. And rested up even more, ready for the next adventure along the California coast. Tomorrow we have a completely aimless day, just driving down the coast. Without a plan, we end up in Monterey, spending more money and soaking up California's special coastal atmosphere some more.